I am doing a deku out of it. What a deku with Saffron Sands, basically Sands of all 6 souls. Sorry, 7. So we're gonna start out when Deku is born. When Deku is born, nothing much really happens. Like for a second, Inko saw that Inko saw that he had like white eyes, but like he had white hair of green eyes. So yeah, and basically we skipped to when he was 5. He's defending that kid, like in like believe in the opening cutscene, I think. Yeah, and basically his Bakugo and his goons go to attack him. Like his wings pop out, not knowing this. He flies up in the air, and everyone sees his wings, and Bakugo thinks to himself, "This Deku must have some kind of wing quirk or mutation quirk." So yeah, basically he also has like a bone tail. So then basically Inko takes him to the Quark Doctor. And I'm speaking really fast. I had to slow down. Whew. Sorry, I had to refilm this a couple of times. So yeah, that's why I'm speeding up a bit. Basically, they say he has a mutation quirk. Or and basically they call it Saffron, which is the name of the sands. I might change it later, depending if I can find a good name for his quirk or not. So yeah. Basically what ends up happening is that. Well, basically, yeah. Like over the years, he started to turn into a skeleton and grow in size, like in up to 40 feet, like I said. So yeah, like I want to show you what he looks like. This is what he looks like. You can also has this over his head. So yeah, basically it's just over his head a lot, and he usually, like he can also shrink. So that's yeah, like he can also shrink to like the size of Bakugo. So yeah, this is what he looks like. Just one more shot. Or he also has the 3 jaws and everything. Yeah. Basically, and that's what he looks like. He never wears a school uniform because, well, he would just rip it when he turns into his giant form. So yeah, basically, he basically gets all the fame, but he doesn't have a superiority complex like Bakugo in the canon. So yeah, basically the teacher walks in and throws the papers up in the air. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you. Listen. We all know that I know that you all want to be heroes. Basically, he throws papers up in the air, like I said, and everyone starts using the quirks except Bakugo and Deku or Izuku. And by the way, if I said his name wrong, Saffron Sands, tell me in the comments. I can't pronounce it that well. So yeah, basically, tell me in the comments if how the correct way to pronounce it. So then what ends up happening is that, like, he says that 2 people want to go to, well, UA, and they say it's Izuku and Bakugo. Like Bakugo has less of a superiority complex, and they're friends, Bakugo and Deku. But Bakugo still has a temper. It's like who is it? Who is it? None of these weaklings can compare to me. Like he has scratch that. He has basically somewhat of a superiority complex, but it's really low. And so basically he says Izuku and Doria, and then Baku just sits down and says, "You better get in. You better get in, Deku, or Izuku, as he sometimes call him." Then basically after school, he just turns into his giant form, like his 40 feet form, and then he just flies off. And the Sludgeville incident doesn't happen, and basically, because he knows he can become a hero with his quirk, so he has a lot of confidence and bravery and justice in him, and like bravery in him. because of the soul, and basically, yeah. And, like, yeah. But he's also, so, yeah. But also, when he's in the small form, his wings are the size of Hawk's wings, and the thing, like, the determination floating thing, I guess, is small. Like, not really small, but small. Like, not too small, like, medium size, I guess you would say. So, yeah. Then, like, because he's a skeleton, he doesn't really need to train, he just studies a lot. He doesn't really need to work out, he doesn't need to work out, he just studies and tries to increase his power usage of all the souls at once. But he also trains with Bakugo clearing up the beach. I forget the name of the beach, but they clear up the beach in less than a week. Once because Ezekiel doing the heavy lifting. And Bakugo just training. And yeah. And they basically practice in fighting techniques and Deku's small form. Not like small form, but like his human-sized form, I would say. Like, again, he's the size of Bakugo, so yeah. They train and train for the 10 months, and then it's the UA entrance exams. They basically, Deku gives Bakugo a ride to UA, and everyone sees this giant freaking skeleton with wings and a floating half skull over his head. And he basically, they think it's a villain, but no. Like, he puts Bakugo down, and he shrinks down to his size of Bakugo again. Let's call it the Bakugo size. So, yeah. They go in, and everyone just stares at Izuku immensely. Like, some people call him a freak. But Izuku just ignores this, because he doesn't care. So, yeah, like his personality is somewhat of Sans. He's somewhat lazy, but not too much. Basically, he aces the written exam and corrects Nezu on some things. Like, he has the personality of Sans, I would say, because he studies a lot for the past 10 months. So, yeah. Yeah. So, he corrected Nezu on some things, and Nezu sees that this kid is really smart, and he corrected him on a lot of things, like on the written person exam. And basically, President Mike is explaining the practical portion of the exam. So, yeah. And he explains the 3-pointers, the 1-pointer and 0-pointer, and also the 2-pointers. And he says that the 0-pointer is just merely an obstacle, and Ida does the same thing he does in Ken, but Izuku tells them to sit down. And yeah, basically, they're out the gates. He sees that this girl, he doesn't trip, so he doesn't meet Uraraka, but he meets Uraraka here. Like, he sees that this girl does not have a lot of confidence in her, and he goes up to her and Ida doesn't tap his shoulder, saying that you shouldn't go up to her. Like, you'll make her more nervous, and then he says, no, I'm trying to boost up her confidence. Oh, then he says, then Ida apologizes, and he stops. Like, he goes back to where he was, and, well, he basically encourages Uraraka to be more confident in herself. So, yeah, and then President Mike says 3-2, well, what are you waiting for? There's no villain, there's no countdown in a real battle, go, go, go! And everyone goes. Then Deku just turns into his 40 feet form, and everyone sees this. He says, they say, "Oh my god!" And he starts bashing robots. Not even, like, he helps people a lot, and he's just bashing them and like throwing them around. And then the 0-pointer comes, and Deku's like, he just kicks it. He kicks it, and yeah, it leaves a giant dent in him. And yeah, and he sees the rocket, and he removes the rebel and picks her up and takes her to Recovery Girl, and he shrinks down to Bakugo size, and he leaves. And then he racked up a lot of points. He beat All Might's record. So yeah, and basically 2 weeks later he gets the letter from UI, and basically, he says yes that he got it, and he tells Bakugo this. So yeah, they're both pretty happy they got in the UA. So I might go to after Hero versus Villains. Yeah, Hero versus Villains. Yeah, basically the first day UA, he gives Bakugo a ride. Like he has a permission just to wear the shorts that he was wearing, cause he couldn't wear any UA uniform, cause like he would just he would just rip it, and that cost too much damage, like, too much money. So they just allow him to have the shorts on. And everyone sees him walking with Bakugo, and then some people admire his quirk, while some people also fear it. So yeah, he walks in. They both find Class 1A. It's like Bakugo isn't like he isn't that arrogant, so he doesn't put his feet on the table. And everyone just continue to stare at Deku. They just continue to stare at him, and like he says, "Could you please stop staring?"